it right off the bat.
And of course, there's no intro music again. Because our intro is being stupid. We're just having a great time over here.
Well, I'll be the intro music. There is a grand old flag. There's a high flying flag.
I can give you this.
Oh, well, it's better than something. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Welcome, everyone. Worstest podcast on the interwebs is back. In full force, we are back. Welcome, welcome. I am your host, Captain Boring, along with my sidekick, Simeon. It is college football playoff time, baby. This will come out Friday morning at 6 a.m. At least that's the hope. As long as we get all our ducks in a row, that means there are two college football playoff semifinal games tonight. Alabama, Cincinnati, Michigan, and Georgia. Don't you worry, we'll be previewing those. We'll also be previewing all the other New Year's Six bowl games. So that's the Peach Bowl, and the Fiesta Bowl, the Rose Bowl, and the Sugar Bowl. But lots have transpired since we last talked. It's been 2 weeks. I hope everyone has had happy and safe holidays. Happy New Year. Also, early Happy New Year. By the time you're listening to this, it will be New Year's Eve. We are having quite the holiday season, good holiday season. Some of us are in worse moods than others. Some of us are in the same moods as others. But I'm going to start with a sad note.
Oh, yeah, R.I.P. I don't have any R.I.P. music.
R.I.P. Whitney Houston, R.I.P.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Oh,
it's on
John Madden. John Madden died. Which
a white man.
Which
you like that? You like that?
So that's the mood we're in today, which is fine. Listen, John Madden, it is
sad. It is legit sad.
It's sad, but it's one of those things where he was 85 years old. It was unexpected. Not quite sure what happened. Doesn't matter. He lived a good, long life. He was basically, from what people have told me, he was basically Sean McVay before Sean McVay. One of these coaches in his 30s that kind of came up with a running scheme, an offensive line scheme that really changed the NFL. In his time, he was a Hall of Fame coach. He is a Hall of Fame NFL Hall of Famer. And then, of course, he's most known for his broadcasting career, which then led to the video games. And ever since
Sports
1996 or 7, he has put his name on some of the best video games, or probably the number one selling video game in the history of video games if you combine all the years. And I pretty much buy one every single year. I haven't this year, but maybe I will now. But it is a sad day this happened yesterday, but it was a sad day in the football world. But, how would you rather carry on John Madden's legacy, someone who is all about football, than doing a football podcast? I feel like he would look down on this podcast and first say, I have no idea who these people are. But then second, he would be like, yeah, those guys kind of know what they're talking about. So we will continue to do this episode, at least in memory of him. Simeon, any thoughts on John Madden at all?
He did not actually ever play a single snap of football.
So he was just a coach.
Well, okay, he played a single snap of football is what I should say. He played for... he was given a football scholarship to the University of Oregon, studying pre-law, playing football with boyhood friend John Robinson, I should know who that is. Yeah, so he transferred to Cal Poly and played both offense and defense for the Mustangs back in the days where you played both ways. I've
heard it both ways.
I've heard it both ways. But also, most notably, fans of the podcast will remember me and Micaiah arguing over whether or not he was dead. Like a good month and a half ago.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Madden family and Virginia Madden.
Well,
I may have jinxed your husband dying.
Well, no. I think we're off the hook because on Christmas Day, Fox ran a all Madden special. It was basically a documentary on John Madden on Christmas Day on national television. So I feel like we're off the hook for jinxing that. So Virginia, if you're mad at anyone, be mad at Fox, not the 4th and 1 podcast.
Yeah, sorry guys. And obviously, I don't know, did he have any good... I'd be interested to see what his coaching tree looks like. So I'm going to look that up while you move on to your next point.
Okay, that's fine. He, as a coach, he's like 119 and 39 and 7 or something like that. He a really good record.
103, 32, and 7.
103, 32, and 7. All right. Well, I was like 30 games off. In other news, kind of football news, COVID is impacting lots of both. Well, it's impacting the world, obviously. It's a pandemic, henceforth impacting the world. But in terms of sports, it's impacting all major sports right now. The NHL, the NHL is not allowing their players to participate in the Olympics. The hockey canceled the junior kind of Olympic games or whatever, the junior championships, I think they're called. Right now, NHL teams are still allowed to cross the borders, but with limited capacity fans. The Toronto Raptors are only playing in front of 50% fans now. I would expect Canada to kind of close its borders at some point. It's impacting NFL rosters as it's kind of running rampant right now through the NFL, NBA, and college right now. College, there have been 4 bowl games canceled, most notably yesterday, the Credit Union or the Credit Union Holiday Bowl with UCLA and NC State. They were going to try to postpone it and play it at a later date and find another opponent, but no one could be found, so NC State's the winner there. And then a couple other bowl games. Rutgers is going to play Wake Forest tomorrow, which that's unfair to Rutgers, I feel like. And then COVID impacting the NFL, hitting hard. Not as hard as the NBA, I feel, but most notably Carson Wentz, who is unvaccinated. And that means his protocols kind of change. However, he tested positive, wasn't having symptoms, so kind of one of those deals. These leagues are changing the protocols as they are going along to kind of. They're shortening the quarantine, so whether or not you do or do not agree with that, it's not really up to you. But what they're doing is they're shortening the quarantine so that there's more players are available sooner. Well, in fact, this is what the rest of the world is doing. The CDC came out and said that nurses who tested positive for COVID only have to quarantine for 5 days, and it can be shorter, and they can come to work with N95s as long if there is staffing shortages. So again, that's making the whole healthcare community kind of angry, which is understandable. It makes me angry. Everything really the CDC does makes me angry and boil on the inside. The players of all these leagues are angry as the leagues are trying to sift through all these protocols and trying to decide and figure out what's best for both the players' safety, the fan safety, the league's health, kind of try to keep that because they want the money to keep flowing in. So yeah, listen, I said it on Instagram and I'll say it again here. You have to adapt and just keep moving forward. Listen, some bowl games are going to be canceled. Yeah, that's just what's going to happen. Listen, a lot of players are out in the NBA right now. Yes, things go in cycle. So these things go in cycle. It's really bad now. In a couple months, it'll be really good again. You just adapt, overcome, adjust. I don't know what the saying is that Bear Grylls says, but just keep adapting and moving forward. One step at a time, one day at a time, just keep going. And I feel like that can be a life lesson for everyone, even if you're not dealing with COVID. Just take it one day at a time, one problem at a time. When you get hit with a problem, adapt to the problem, overcome the problem, and move on. Another problem, do the same. And I think that's a good lesson and reminder for all of us, but especially those out there who are just kind of struggling with life right now. What's up, my man? I heard you laugh earlier. You're not paying attention to me, so I could really say whatever.
Yeah, basically. I was letting you go on about COVID. You're more qualified than I am. Chuck Pagano technically comes from the John Madden coaching tree.
Okay, great.
Which means Bruce Arians, current head coach, Todd Bowles, Freddie Kitchens also comes from that, as well as Mike McCarthy and Ben McAdoo also technically come from the John tree. Vic Fangio, Mike McCoy, Adam Gase. Don't know if that's necessarily a good one. But yeah, there's a few on. This is ProFootballHistory.com. John Fox. I don't know if that name.
John Fox. He led the Denver Broncos. He was the coach of the Bears for a little bit, and then moved over to the Broncos with Peyton's first year.
Our favorite fan of 6 and 6, a.k.a. Jeff Fisher, is also technically.
Jeff Fisher, Mr. 8 and 8 himself.
Mr. 8 and 8. Jim Mora Jr., technically.
Head coach of UConn.
Head coach of UConn, and Dan Quinn, also technically. These are people.
Defensive coordinator of the Cowboys. So it's a rich coaching tree.
Yeah, it's a small one, but it got bigger as his assistants kind of went around the league.
Right.
Yeah, so Ron Rivera technically and is also another one. This is Norv Turner, probably best known for head coaching the 2012 San Diego Chargers.
Yeah, so, he was kind of the first. Well, not the first, but he was crowned a quarterback whisperer guru for a while in what he did with Phillip Rivers.
So yeah, Sid Gilman would be who they place John Madden under his coaching tree.
Okay,
I can't find anything else.
Alrighty. Well, John Madden kind of impacted the game of football heavily, both in broadcasting. He changed the world of broadcasting definitely for the analyst portion, and he changed the world of video games. He changed, like I said, he was one of the innovators when it comes to head coaching and offense in terms of offensive line play. So he will be dearly missed. I know the world of football misses him already, and our hearts go out to Virginia and the Madden family. Some happier news, though. My man, Simeon, he just got married. We took a break. He's got that old ball and chain tying him down now. He's got that ring on lock, that woman on lock. And so, yeah, congratulations, my man. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're glad that Simeon got married. And that's all I'm going to say on that matter. My boy, we've really gone, 3 weeks without really talking college football because we had the Jeb NBA episode, then we took a week off, and now here we are. So it's been 3 weeks. I am pumped. I'm actually excited to do this podcast. If you couldn't tell, we are 15 minutes in. I've talked about nothing of substance, and I'm just burning to talk about some college football.
Well, hey, Clemson and Iowa State are currently tied right now.
Yes, they are tied. Okay, well, I was watching that game, and Clemson got off kind of to a hot start there. They had an 8-minute drive that ended in a field goal, but thus begins the era of Clemson where family is no longer Dabo Swinney is still building his program as family-oriented, but both coordinators are gone, offensive, defensive, so 2 new play callers there. transfers are going out, and then he's going to and he's gotten some transfers in the portal. So thus begins a new era at Clemson. Yes, Simeon.
Can I go over the current bowl games and their results that have been played?
You know what? Go for it.
All right, Middle Tennessee, Toledo. Middle Tennessee beat Toledo in the Bahama Bowl, in the Tail Greeter Cure Bowl. I apologize. Coastal Carolina actually won their first bowl game.
Huzzah!
Beating Northern Illinois. UAB beat number 13 BYU in the Independence Bowl.
That I did not know.
Yep.
Good for UAB.
Good.
I like UAB.
I like UAB too. Number 23 Louisiana in Billy Napier's send-off beat Marshall in the New Orleans Bowl. Western Kentucky beat Appalachia State in the Boca Raton Bowl.
Yeah, dude threw for over 6,000. Well, he set the FBS record. Their quarterback set the FBS record for most passing yards and most passing touchdowns in a single season.
The more you know. Liberty destroyed EMU in the Lending Tree Bowl, as well as Fresno State ran over the Miners of UTEMP in the New Mexico Bowl. 6'9" Utah State backup quarterback beat I think that was them. I think he was Utah State. Beat Oregon State. He is the tallest quarterback in the country.
Calling the Denver Broncos.
Yep. The Myrtle Beach Bowl. Tulsa beat Oklahoma.
No.
Tulsa beat Old Dominion, sorry.
There you go.
Unfortunately, our UTSA Roadrunners lost in the Frisco Bowl to the Fighting Brady Hoax of San Diego State, number 24. Wyoming beat Kent State. Wyoming is now without a quarterback after their quarterback enters the transfer portal. They're looking for their next Josh Allen.
They literally put flyers up around campus for tryouts to be the quarterback of Wyoming.
Yep.
Yes.
They're looking for another possible transfer portal player. Coach currently at Wyoming, Carson Wentz, Josh Allen. Guys, if you're a quarterback, go to Wyoming.
Carson Wentz didn't play for Wyoming, but Josh Allen did.
He did not play for Wyoming. He played for their coach at North Dakota State.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. Okay.
Army beat Mizzou by 2 points in the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. Miami of Ohio beat University of North Texas in the Frisco Football Classic. UCF making Florida season even sadder. Beat them in the Gasparilla Bowl.
Gasparilla Bowl. You had it right the first time. I'm proud of you. Yep. Mm-hmm.
The Memphis-Hawaii game got canceled.
Yes. That was a bowl game.
Georgia State beat Ball State in the Camellia Bowl, I would assume.
Oh, I don't know.
Yep. And Western Michigan beat Nevada. Good end to the season. Claps, snaps. And
snap. Good job, Western Michigan.
Obviously, the Military Bowl was canceled. Houston beat Auburn. That sucks. 17-3 in the Birmingham Bowl. Air Force beat...
Good end. By the way, Houston, after losing their first games, finishes 10-1 or 11-1 on the season. So good for Houston.
Good for Houston. Air Force beat Louisiana in the first Louisville, I apologize, in the first responders bowl. Texas Tech ran over their old coach in the Liberty Bowl against Mississippi State. Minnesota, Mike Leach, thank you. Minnesota beat West Virginia in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Obviously, he said that the San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl was canceled. And currently playing live is Clemson and Iowa State. Oregon and Oklahoma will be on at 9:15 in
and I am sad
Alamo Bowl.
That I'm going to miss the Alamo Bowl. As I covered in an earlier podcast, I love the Alamo Bowl. The Alamo Bowl typically is one of the best bowl games. It has and I don't see why this one isn't going to be, with both Oregon and Oklahoma changing coaching staffs. staffs since their head coaches left. A lot of talent on both sides. Caleb Williams on one side, Anthony Brown on the other side with that big kind of Ducks running game. It's going to be an all-timer probably.
Surprisingly, the Pinstripe Bowl was played. Maryland and Virginia Tech.
Yes, Pinstripe
Maryland
Bowl
won
was
that game.
Well, it wasn't really played. It was Maryland
Running
played
over.
football and Virginia Tech showed up.
Exciting games to watch out for tomorrow. We got North Carolina over South Carolina. We don't care about that one. Except their coaches have some great... Did you see their coaches' tweets?
Yes, they will both. Whoever wins will bathe in mayonnaise. I heard about that watching the Cheez-It Bowl.
Technically, Mac Brown said that he would be hit with the frying pan. He doesn't care if they win. Pittsburgh is playing Michigan State in the Peach Bowl. That's the big one. As well as Wisconsin, Arizona State, if you care about that.
Well, let's start right there with the Peach Bowl.
All right, let's break it down.
So when this podcast comes out, everybody, the Peach Bowl will have been played. So go look up the stats and see if kind of we got it right. But we're going to start right there with our preview. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Everyone loves Chick-fil-A.
I'm having it after this.
Okay, great. Well, then let's wrap this up. Just kidding. Number 12, Pittsburgh versus number 10, Michigan State. So, couple things. First and foremost, Michigan State will be out without Kenneth Walker, who declared for the NFL draft. Pittsburgh will be without Kenny Pickett, who also declared for the NFL draft. Nick Patty's going to start in Kenny Pickett's place, who came in third in the Heisman, I believe. And then also they're going to be without Mark Whipple, Pittsburgh, the offensive coordinator, who was Kenny Pickett's mentor, because he retired from football as of right now. So Pittsburgh is a 2.5-point underdog. The over-under's 56. If Kenny Pickett was playing, if Mark Whipple was coaching, if Kenneth Walker was playing, I would say take the over. Now I have no idea where to go. I don't know what to tell you. But trying to break in a new quarterback against a Mel Tucker defense, who historically this year, they were the worst passing defense in the nation. Michigan State is, I should say. They allow 455 yards per game, 320 yards coming through the air. So that, I would say, that chalks it up to Pittsburgh throwing ball around. And Pittsburgh is going to throw the ball around under Nick Patty. From what I read today, he's a good recruit, a highly touted kind of recruit, depending on what area you're from. So they are going to throw the ball. Michigan State, they're still going to be able to run the ball. However, Kenneth Walker is no longer there, and a lot of the runs, especially kind of midway point through the season when he was picking up a lot of the Heisman hype, particularly in the Michigan game, he was stopped in the backfield. He would make 2 or 3 guys miss and then break it for a 30 or 40 yard gain. He is no longer there. So I'm going to say take Michigan State minus the 2.5. I like that a lot. I just think that they still have Peyton Thorne, their starting quarterback. They still have the 2 starting wide receivers on the outside for Michigan State. And their defense, with all this time off against a backup quarterback, is going to be better than it was kind of during the season. And if it's not, Pittsburgh's defense isn't any Steel Curtain, 1985 Steelers, or whatever, 85 Bears, well, I don't know. And then, so Michigan State's going to move the ball. So I like Michigan State here. I like them minus the 2.5. Simeon? You just
2.5?
Yeah.
Minus the 2.5?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Michigan State minus the 2.5.
Right. Am I thinking wrong?
No, I think you're 100% right. I mean, that's a field goal. Like, Michigan State's going to win by at least a field goal. I think Michigan State's going to manhandle, honestly. I don't think this is going to be close. They've always had good running backs, I feel like. And I wouldn't be surprised if, I'll be spicy. I'll take the over on this game.
Okay. All right. You know what? I'm leaning towards the over because I think Michigan State will give up a lot of points and yards to Pittsburgh, but I just think I like Michigan I like Michigan State. Starting quarterback, starting wide receivers, starting everything, and missing a running back is a whole lot different than missing your starting quarterback all year.
That's fair.
So I'm not going to go in order. I'm going to save the 2 primetime New Year's Eve day games for last.
That's smart. That's what I would do.
Okay, great. So let's jump ahead to New Year's Day then.
New Year's Day. The New Year's Day.
Real quick, Simeon, you know what's really annoying that I found? On January 4th, there's a bowl game with LSU. So this is after the college football playoff.
The Texas Bowl.
Yes. Why? Why can't we fit another bowl game in before... Like, all the bowl games, except for the Natty, should be done on New Year's Day. Period. End of discussion.
Including the college football playoff? Is that what you're saying?
College football playoff should be played on New Year's Eve.
Then it should go...
And then it should be the New Year's 6th.
So here's why, Micaiah. Here's why there's a game on the 4th. I guarantee you the Texans have a home game that week.
We'll look it up.
If I look... Okay. So that's on the Tuesday the 4th. So there's either a Monday night game for the 3rd, but my guess is the Texans have a home game this week, and they need a day to flip the field. Houston Texans.
Or turn over the field, as it were.
No. Why?
Oh, I was going to go nuts if you were right. I was going to...
No.
Okay, so
they're
now
at the 49ers. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Now it really doesn't make any sense.
And no, it doesn't make any sense because that's the Texas Bowl.
I bought that. I was like, you know what? Simeon's going to be right. Absolutely. And
well, it was just to be fair, it was just a guess. So I don't want to.
It sounded like a legitimate guess. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure why that's on Tuesday the 4th of all things. I mean, that's Saturday the 1st. You could easily slip in a game. Maybe they don't want to make... Well, no, it's the Outback Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, the Citrus Bowl.
They don't want to compete with NFL football on Sunday and Monday.
Right.
So I understand why the day it's on, but I don't understand why we couldn't have put it on New Year's Eve, tomorrow.
I mean, yeah,
New Year's Day.
What time is this on? It's a 9 p.m. game?
Yeah, like... Why? Like, obviously...
Why it's not tomorrow? There's no 9 p.m. game tomorrow.
You could put it at noon... on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve and have that be the game before the college football playoff game.
Yeah, I'm not
semifinals.
I'm not 100% sure. The other game at noon is Washington State Central Michigan.
So
who's more likely to watch on All Day Friday? If you're ESPN and you have both games, you could have the 11 a.m. game, the 12 p.m. game, the 3:30 game, and the 7:30 game, and you're going to have Rutgers versus Wake Forest, which their fans are going to show up for that game, add money.
Yep.
Then you'd have LSU fans and Kansas State fans, which there's not a lot of, but LSU fans show up at 12 o'clock, add money. Then you have the 2 college football playoff games.
Yep.
Somebody explain that to me. I don't get this either. This makes no sense.
Yeah. Okay, so, so I just had to bring it, because I'm looking through the schedule, I'm making my notes, I'm like,
you're making your way downtown, talking fast. Faces flashes, you're homebound.
The Fiesta Bowl, number 9 Oklahoma versus number 5 Notre Dame.
Oklahoma State.
I messed up. Yes, Oklahoma State.
Okay.
Is a 2.5-point underdog. This is Marcus Freeman's for Notre Dame. His first game with since he took over for Brian Kelly. Can Notre Dame run the football? Late in the year, they really got their offensive identity back, which was running the football behind a big, powerful offensive line. Late in the year against sucky teams. Oklahoma State, this is their first game since literally coming 3 inches short to the college football playoff.
Not even might be. It might have been less than that.
It might have been less than that. All right. Well, you would know about length. Spencer Sanders has to play turnover free. He has to.
Figured it.
He had 4 turnovers in the Big 12 championship game, including 3 interceptions, which let Baylor really win that game. And then can they run the ball on a very stout Notre Dame defense? Over-under's 45. That seems right on, so I'm not going to touch that one either. What I will touch is I will take Notre Dame minus 2.5. I think their offensive coordinators, Jimmy Reese, I think that's his name, and it's first game under Marcus Freeman. The players are going to be fired up to play for them. Not that Oklahoma State's players won't, but I think that Notre Dame will force a couple turnovers on Spencer Sanders. He really hasn't had a big game this year that he's been turnover-free. I think that Oklahoma State will be able to run the ball with Jaylen Warren, but I think that Notre Dame's kind of found their offensive identity. Reese is going to call the same type of game he has down the stretch, and so I think that it's Notre Dame's kind of to lose. It's going to be a close game, hard-fought game, but I think I like Notre Dame here minus the 2.5.
Yeah. I think this game should be more even than 2.5. I get why it's 2.5. Like,
but who are you taking? Who do you think is going to win?
Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma. Okay.
Yeah.
So Oklahoma State.
Also, just random news. This is how I get my news. Basically, Archie Manning right now is looking like it's either going to be Georgia or Alabama.
Arch Manning, you mean?
Arch Manning, yeah. With Texas in third place, according to some credible recruiting machine statistics.
Well, he is a junior. He's still got time.
Well, I mean, he's going to make his decision, I think, based on this playoff. Which isn't good for news for Michigan fans. Or it's great news, you know?
Well, but why wouldn't, if you were him, why wouldn't you look... So he wants to go somewhere that's going to put him in the NFL, right?
Right. 100%.
Why... Well, if that's the case, then I'm not looking at Georgia. When's the last time Georgia put a quarterback in the NFL?
Matthew Stafford.
Before that.
I don't know. Matthew Stafford's like 35. I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
technically Jake Fromm is in there, and Justin Fields started there. But again, none of them are standout players yet in talking about Justin Fields, but he's more of an Ohio State Ryan Day product than he is a Georgia. But outside of Matthew Stafford, who was a generational, or who is a generational arm talent, there's no one else that Georgia. So why would he even be looking at Georgia?
By the way, Stetson Bennett has been named the starting quarterback against Michigan.
That's actually good news, I think, for Michigan.
Jacob Easton. Nope, he transferred. I'm just looking here.
Both Easton and Fromm are in the NFL, but again, they're not doing anything.
I'm just looking here for these people. So before Matthew Stafford, Joe Turitsky.
Never heard of her.
Never heard of him. Sorry. DJ Shockley.
Nope.
You don't remember DJ Shockley?
No.
He played for he backed up Michael Vick's, in 2006 to 2010 for the
Oh,
Atlanta
yeah,
Falcons.
let me just remember that.
And
let me remember all the backup quarterbacks.
David Green.
Nope.
Yeah, he played in
So
Seattle.
Again, my point is, why is he even considering Georgia? If he wants to make it to the NFL, why Georgia?
I mean, for that record, why Alabama? Like, I know why Alabama, but like...
Well, I mean, you got Mac Jones, you got Tua...
Yeah. The last three quarterbacks that they have been solid, credible NFL quarterbacks.
Right.
The last three out of how many?
Exactly. Well, Georgia, the last three out of how many have been busts for Georgia? Like, you can say the same thing, except Alabama's been doing it. It's recency bias.
Right.
Alabama more recently.
All right, let's do this. So, Georgia... Matthew Stafford, 2006 to 2008, was their starting quarterback.
Yep.
John Parker Wilson, same time.
Yep.
Greg McElroy.
Yep.
Okay. A.J. Karen.
A.J. McCarron.
Yeah, him. See?
Yep.
Blake Sims.
Yep.
Jake Coker.
Yep.
Cooper Bateman.
Yeah, I forgot about Cooper Bateman.
He doesn't have a Wikipedia page.
I forgot about it. I forgot that he was a starting quarterback.
He was a starting quarterback for 1 year. He was replaced by Blake Barnett.
Barnett, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep, okay. And then you had Jalen Hurts to Mac.
Yep. Yeah.
So, like, it's literally, even before Greg, before John, they had Brody Claren. They had nobody.
So then where
Freddie
would you
Kitchens was their biggest last name, and he played
Yes.
for them in '95.
So then where would you go?
Where would I go?
If you were Arch Manning, world literally at your fingertips, where would you go?
Alabama.
Okay.
Or Michigan, go blue.
Go blue. So you would go to Bama. I mean,
Or Lane Kiffin and honestly, or Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. I don't know why.
Wouldn't you take a hard look at Ohio State?
Oh, and a very hard look at Ohio State. Yeah.
I mean, Ryan Day. Yeah, he's going to put some guys in the NFL,
and they're going to be good.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Ohio State. I'm looking at Michigan. Sorry, I am. Especially if they win.
Michigan's got that pro style system,
and you know Harbaugh's a good quarterback coach. Like you're gonna get drafted. Yeah. He will use you. Yep. I don't think Michigan's gonna be my top choice. I think my top choice would be Texas under Sark, Ole Miss under Lane, or Alabama under Saban. You're gonna get good playtime anywhere.
I would throw Ryan Day.
And Ohio
I would throw
State.
Ohio State in there before Texas.
I think I'd go Ole Miss. Ole Miss. I want to see how Auburn does, but not Auburn. Ole Miss.
Uh-huh.
Auburn in 3 years would be a good pick. Ole Miss, Ohio State, Alabama, in that order.
Okay, fair enough. I would do Bama, Ohio State, Ole Miss. But I like that you brought up Ole Miss. You're learning. Anyway, let's get back to, speaking of Ohio State, Oh, yeah.
Good transition.
Thank you. Yeah, baby.
Just the one.
Do I make you horny, baby?
You like that?
Nice. The Rose Bowl. A game unlike any other. That's not what it's called, but what is that? Something unlike a tradition unlike any other, the Masters. That's what I'm thinking of. Okay,
Good job, bro.
A tradition unlike any other, same could be said, the Rose Bowl. Number 11, Utah, the hottest team in the country, you could argue, is a 4.5-point underdog to number 6, Ohio State. Last time Ohio State was on the field, they were being railroaded by the nation's best offensive line in Michigan, and Hassan Haskins was running for 169 yards and 5 touchdowns on them. To rub salt into that wound even more, Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson, 2 of the 3 outstanding wide receivers for Ohio State, will not be playing, along with 1 offensive lineman and Garrett Haskell, a defensive lineman. Ohio State's key to the game is what it will be all year. I have no doubt Ryan Day will cook something up with Jackson Smith and Jigba, who was Ohio State's leading receiver. Then they have Marvin Harrison's kid and a whole bunch of other true freshmen that will come in and make plays for C.J. Stroud. They also have Travion Henderson in that running game, but they really kind of need to start to get going. Here's the key. Can they stop Utah's run game? Because Utah is extremely balanced. They're 213 rushing yards a game and 214 passing yards a game. That's how balanced they are. And Utah is hot. They ran over Oregon twice. They would have done it thrice.
The fuck you are.
If, still my favorite soundbite, if they played them again. And listen, Oregon beat Ohio State, and Utah's coming. Utah wants to be physical at the line of scrimmage, so can they continue to be hot? And all Utah has to do is dominate both the offensive, but more importantly, the defensive line of scrimmage. In the 2 games Ohio State got beat, Aiden Hutchinson had 3 sacks, David Ojabo had 2 sacks in the Michigan game, and then in Oregon, without Kayvon Thibodeau, in the second game this year, the Oregon defensive line dominated the Ohio State offensive line. So, Ohio State's got to stop Utah's run game, because if Utah gets running, it's game over. And what was I going to say?
I don't know. What were you going to say?
And Utah has to dominate the defensive line of scrimmage. That's what I was going to say.
Hey, there it is.
Man, I am airheaded today. Well, it's an hour.
Okay.
Well, you know what? We all do this. Anyway, the over-under is ridiculously high at 64.
Yeah, I'm not liking 64. I'm also not liking the spread, really, for that matter.
So, take the under. I'm going to tell you right now, people, take the under, okay?
Yeah.
I like Utah plus 4.5, right?
Yeah.
Do you
at
like
4.5.
that?
If it's 2.5, which I think is where the money line is, I honestly think Ohio State's just going to be bigger and better than Utah. I think this is great news. Good on Utah.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I just think this is going to be the difference between Alabama and Wake Forest. I know they're not in conference, but like Alabama and Kentucky, let's put it that way. Like, yeah, you did great. You're on the upswing. Keep the momentum going, but sit down. It's now player one's turn.
Okay,
you know?
But Ohio State is you would classify Ohio State as a finesse team, no?
Yeah.
Right. They are all about the passing game, the explosive plays.
Yep.
Again, if you make them march down the field, they will eat themselves, right? That's what Michigan did.
Yeah.
Now you're taking away two of their best finesse moves.
Yeah,
you're taking away Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, the problem is that they're so deep.
I understand.
It's why I'm not worried about Michigan State either. You know? They're so deep. I get that the rhythm isn't there, but I feel like Utah's going to give you one or two chances that Michigan won't, you know?
I understand that Ohio State is deeper than Mariana's Trench.
Right.
Okay? I understand that. But depth only gets you so far when it's tethered with experience.
Yeah, no. I get that. 100%. I 100% agree with you. I'm not sold on Utah 100%. They did great. They had a great end of the season, especially against Oregon twice. If you look at their full schedule, which I'm pulling up now, losses was to Oregon State, BYU, and San Diego State in third overtime. You know, I'm just...
Early in the season.
Early in the season. And then they figured themselves out. Even the loss to Oregon State, that was I feel like that's probably just a better game by Oregon State than by Utah. I'm just sitting here saying, you know, against Ohio State, even I don't see the same thing against Utah. Prove me wrong. I probably am. You know I'm happy to be wrong, except for when there's a stupid speeding ticket. But, you know, it's just one of those things that happens. And it is what it is. And I'm going to be... Why am I talking like I'm talking about the speeding ticket? I just think it's Ohio State.
Okay. Well, I adamantly disagree. I like Utah here. I like the under, and I like Utah plus the points. I also So just real quick, let's back up here because I kind of lost track. We're both taking Michigan State to win the game.
Yep.
You're taking Oklahoma State. I'm taking Notre Dame.
Yep.
And then you're taking Ohio State, and I'm going to take Utah.
Yep.
Okay.
Ta-da.
Great. Sugar Bowl. This is going to be a good game.
This is going to be a good game and hard.
Number 8 Old Miss, the All-State Sugar Bowl. Over-under's 55. Old Miss is a 1.5-point favorite, so it's basically pick'em against number 7 Baylor. So basically, this is deciding who is between that 7 and 8 matchup, who is the number 7 in the nation. Old Miss. Their defense was atrocious early in the season, got much better late in the season. Can they stop Baylor's running game? Because you have to be able to stop Baylor's explosive plays, both passing but more importantly running, to really make them a standstill offense. Oklahoma State was able to do that in the Big 12 championship game. Simeon, just do a quick Google search for Gary Bohannon, please.
Okay.
I need to see if he's playing. I forgot to look that up. Ole Miss also needs to get explosive passing. They like to run the ball. They run for over 200 yards a game. They love to run the football, but it's that play action with Matt Corral and the big play receivers down the field that really open this Lane Kiffin offense up. Lane Kiffin's offenses has always been built sort of not around or on, but a major part of his offenses are the deep explosive passes. Yeah, is he playing?
I have I'm just confirming with the second source here. Sam Kahn Jr., OC Jeff Grimes says Gary Bohannon is almost full strength for the Sugar Bowl, and he anticipates him being at full speed come kickoff.
Okay, great. So, Gary Bohannon will be back. One of the things that hampered Baylor in that Big 12 championship game was not having him there. So, Baylor needs explosive plays, mostly in the running game. I think that they're going to get it, absolutely. But what you have to do also to stop Ole Miss is you got to stop their tempo, which means you have to stop their running game and their quick passing game. And you're not just stopping the running back. You are stopping Matt Corral from running the football as well. This kind of feels like the over-under is 55.5. I would take the over in this situation as well. And I'm going to take Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss and Matt Corral to just make one or two more big plays down the field, more explosive plays than Baylor does. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I like Ole Miss. I like their style. I like Baylor's style a lot too. Kind of reminds me of a Michigan, but I like the over 55.5, and I like Ole Miss.
If Ole Miss can give me 2 turnovers or a score off of a kick or punt return, then I'll take Baylor. But other than that, I think it's Ole Miss. I think high-flying offense actually outdoes the best defense in the Big... Well, I guess second best defense, maybe best defense in the Big 12.
Absolutely. Alrighty, so we are all set there. So again, when you listen to this, the Peach Bowl will all have already concluded. And go up and, again, the keys to the game are Michigan State's defense. Is that kind of fixed itself? And Pittsburgh not having Kenneth Pickett or Mark Whipple. But the games of the hour, why we are here, why we talk about college football is this: the college football playoff games, the semifinals. We're going to start in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl in Dallas, where the number 1 seed Alabama is a 13.5-point favorite over number 4 Cincinnati, the first group of 5 to ever get in. Cincinnati's goal. Everyone, here you go. Simeon, I bet you can guess it.
Run the football?
Boo! Yeah. Here's the thing that gets lost about Alabama. Georgia, because Georgia's defense was so historically good, especially against the running game, people just assume that every other defense in the SEC was not good. Here's the thing. Alabama's rushing defense was actually the 3rd best in all of college football this year. Now, Alabama's secondary is a little sus, but their rushing defense, thank you, you like that? Alabama's rushing defense is very, very tight butthole, okay? Very tight. Alabama's problem.
Mom.
No John Mechie, their second leading receiver behind Jamison Williams.
Oh my goodness.
Alabama are we getting? Okay? Are we getting the SEC championship game Alabama? Or are we getting the Texas A&M Alabama? Are you just doing this because you're bored now?
No, those were perfectly good. I gave the coin for the good and the game over for the bad.
Well, okay. Well, you know what? I liked it. I liked it a lot. Simeon, these defenses are very similar.
Dude, do you see the stats on these two teams?
They're almost identical.
If you didn't show me these two teams, I would have said this is Penn State playing Arkansas. Like, legitimately. We got rush yards allowed, total yards allowed, 305, 306. Total yards...
Oh, it's even closer than that. It's 305.8 and 306.2.
Total yards, 428.8, 495.5.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I think the keys to the game for Cincinnati, Alabama is sloppy this year. You have to pitch a perfect game.
Yep.
I think it's totally disrespectful that you're 2 scores, a freaking 2-score underdog.
Agreed.
You're predicted at 30% less. Okay? Cincinnati has shown up to every game that they need to play, and they've played it. And they've played it well.
Ish.
For the most part. Okay. The big ones they did.
Why
got
I said
sloppy.
ish, yes.
Yeah, they got sloppy
Why
against
I said
Tulsa.
ish. Yep.
But, even Alabama has a loss, and even Alabama almost lost to Arkansas. Okay? So let's not... Alabama has their off days. This is when Alabama is at their weakest, and they need to strike. Micaiah said it right. 100% run the ball. Defense, just be slighted. Be angry. Be angry, and you'll win the game.
So speaking of the defense, this is what it comes down to: Jamison Williams and Bryce Young for Alabama versus the 2 coolest names in college football.
Yeah.
You have Kobe Bryant with a C. He was named after the basketball player and is wearing number 8 in honor of the Mamba.
Yep.
And Sauce Gardner on the other side. Both are projected to be first-round cornerbacks taken in the NFL draft. Cincinnati's secondary is legitimate. The loss of Mechie is huge for Alabama because they are playing the best corner statistically in Sauce Gardner, and then his counterpart on the other side, Kobe Bryant. The over-under is 57. Take the under. Take Cincinnati plus the points as well. I like this to be a close game, at least in the first half. Cincinnati is going to come out swinging. I like it. But here's the thing. I think Alabama pulls away late. I think this is a 10-point game. I'm hoping this is a close game. I think I think Bryce Young's the difference. The Heisman winner, he's the difference with Jamison Williams. Jamison Williams has track speed, okay? He has unbelievable speed over the top. And I think Cincinnati's inability to a point to not be able to run on Alabama comes back to bite them, and Desmond Ridder just can't make enough plays. Oh, and by the way, Alabama's defense might have the best defensive lineman in all of college football in Will Anderson. You're going to hear Will Anderson's name come 2022. Will Anderson is a sophomore that led the nation in tackles for losses, and sacks. Even more so than the Heisman runner-up and my boy, Aiden Hutchinson. But I like Cincinnati's gut and grind. I like their 2 corners. The loss of Mechie is serious and needs to be taken, and not enough people are talking about it. Cincinnati plus the points. You take the under, but you take Alabama to win as well.
Yeah, whoever's this is a defensive game through and through. At the end of the day, this is a defensive game.
I think
whichever defense wins this game wins this game.
This is a 24-14 type of game.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
yes, absolutely. Okay, and then the game that hopefully will be
a white man
game of the day. It is number 3 Georgia, a favorite, a 7.5-point favorite, in the Orange Bowl, taking on the second-seeded Michigan Wolverines. The over-under's 45.5. People, you will be asking yourself, why is Georgia a 7.5-point favorite? Well, here's why. The one thing Michigan needs to do,
That's why.
Well, yes, not wrong, but needs to do to win the game is run the football, and I just touched on it. Georgia's rush defense is historically good. So, let's start with Georgia, Stetson Bennett will play. That opens up the quarterback running game, so Michigan's going to have to be ready for that. Daxton Hill probably is not going to play in this game. That is huge because who is going to cover the best tight end in the nation? Brock Bowers, who plays for Georgia.
Why is Daxton Hill not playing? I saw something like that.
No one really knows. People are suspecting he got left behind because of COVID. Which then people are saying, well, if he did, then he might be able to make the game in time. So so no one knows. Maybe he's opting out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Georgia's coming off of a loss. They're going to be mad. Can Bennett make plays with his feet, which have kind of hurt Michigan all year? And then the X factor for Georgia is Brock Bowers now with Daxton Hill out. Both of these teams want to play the same way. So, keys for Michigan. Cade McNamara has to play mistake-free. He's played mistake-free in November. In Ohio State, he threw an interception that was totally his fault. In the Big Ten championship game, he threw an interception that wasn't his fault, went off the hands of his tight end. So he needs to clean that up, not turn the football over to keep Michigan's offense efficient. Can Michigan run the football? And if they can't, they need to supplement their running game some other way. Quick passes, reverses, I don't know. Quick passes and reverses basically are your only two options. Slants, short, quick throws. So McNamara's got to be accurate, mistake-free, and Michigan's got to find a way to run the football, whether that be with Hassan Haskins and Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards, or in the passing game, quick passes, reverses with A.J. Henning, Cornelius Johnson, and the X factor for Michigan is the running back, the true freshman, Donovan Edwards. His ability to catch passes out of the backfield has really exploded this offense in the Maryland game, in the Ohio State game, and in the Big Ten championship game. That's 3 weeks in a row. Michigan was the hottest team in the nation going into this week, but now they kind of had some time to cool off. Georgia's angry, and Michigan, I will finish up with this. Was your goal to win the Big Ten championship and beat Ohio State? Because if it is, great. And then, so are you viewing this playoff game as I, the fan, am viewing it? I'm just happy to be here. Because if you are, Georgia's going to run you out of town. Or are you here to actually show up, bang some heads, and monkey round, and tell Georgia to mess around and find out?
Yeah, whip around.
And rip
Michigan,
round.
whip round. Got to rip round, Michigan.
You got to rip round. So, this is a classic case of which team imposes their style of play, which is the same, but imposes their style of play first and is able to sustain that. Over-unders 45. I'm taking the under. I'm taking Michigan plus the points. But I'm taking Georgia to win.
Okay, I'm surprised you gave me the last word here. I actually have thoughts, and they're good thoughts. Okay,
are they though?
This game is going to be played in one place and one place only. There's 3 feet between the one white guy and the other white guy, which is between the lines. I'm sorry, that was bad. Between offensive line versus defensive line. This game will be about Michigan's or Georgia's defensive line, Michigan's offensive line. Well, it will be about Michigan's offensive line. Can Michigan dominate as they have done
the entire year? The entire year
against anybody they've seen it. Their offensive line has been the best. So can Michigan keep that up? Which goes off Micaiah's point. Is Michigan, does the O-line want to be there? The second part is, can Georgia defend against Michigan's defensive line? If they get 3 sacks, you lose the game.
If Aiden Hutchinson goes off, you mean?
If Michigan defensive line gets 3 sacks, you lose. And I'm not talking technical sacks. I'm talking about humiliated. There was times, I don't know who he is, number 71 or 73 on Ohio State, who they just, Aiden Hutchinson, Alaba, whoever they threw it at him, just absolutely, he threw his hand on his hips and looked around for his mama, because that's who he was crying for, because they just owned him. So it's Georgia's offensive line. and Georgia's defensive line, can they attack it? So it's both lines. The game's going to be played
It's both
in the
offensive
trenches.
lines.
It's both defensive. It's both offensive. The game's going to be played in the trenches. That's how this game is going to be decided. Not in the air, not on the ground, in the trenches. Whoever gets more protection, whoever gets better holes, title of your sex tape, whoever gets...
Nice.
Sorry, Mom. Whoever wins
Protects
the
the
trenches
quarterback better.
wins the game. Another key that Georgia has to watch out for, that Michigan should try to utilize. I know, Micaiah, you don't like him. It's okay. J.J. McCarthy. Michigan puts J.J. McCarthy in for big plays. Watch him throw the deep ball. Sorry, I'm giving them. Watch him play action into a deep ball. Watch him read option. Watch him speed option. You mix Edwards in with him. You get those big plays. Was it Edwards or was it against Ohio State? Who scored that big touchdown? Or was that Iowa?
Or that was Iowa, it was Edwards, a halfback pass. Edwards threw to Roman Wilson.
No. When J.J. McCarthy ran down the field and blocked for the
Oh, that was Blake Corum.
Yeah, Blake Corum. That's who I thought it was. You have to watch out. This is the only time you'll actually hear me saying that a 2-quarterback backfield you actually need to watch out for. Because if Michigan gets 7 points when J.J. McCarthy is in, you are fucked. Sorry, Mom. Bend over and just give all the oranges to Michigan at that point.
Listen, I can't disagree with you, and I hope that you're right.
Oh, I'm taking Michigan outright.
Okay, great. Wonderful. You know what? I hope it happens, and I am rooting for that to happen. It's just I am still... It's Georgia, and I've been into college football a lot longer than you, and a Big Ten team not named Ohio State, when they've been in the college football playoff, and when people think that this has been a close game or waiting to happen, i.e. Michigan State and Alabama, it was anything but.
I didn't say this would be a close game. I just take Michigan.
No. I'm not saying. All I'm saying
I'm a true fan.
All I'm saying is, no, a true Michigan fan.
Simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
A true Michigan fan knows Georgia's gonna win.
Absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants.
All right. Well, double.
How dare you?
Are you done? Are you done?
I'll allow it.
Are you done?
I'll allow it.
Are you
Come
done?
after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
All right.
Done.
Well, all right. I'm gonna
Chilling,
come after you.
Smalls.
Yeah. Stop.
You like that? You like that?
Do a podcast with your brother.
I
They
want
said
Just the one.
it would be amazing. They said it would be a good bonding experience.
Figured
They
it.
said. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, listen. I'm hoping for close games. I actually think people think Alabama and Cincinnati is going to be a blowout. I don't think so. People think that Michigan and Georgia is going to be a close. I do think so, and I hope so. But that has come, or that has been, 4th and 1 podcast. Wash your hands, you filthy animals. Again, enjoy your college football Saturday. It is the last weekend of college football before the national championship. We will be back to preview the national championship and kind of take you through what happened in the semifinal games. Go Blue, wash your hands, you filthy animals. Be kind to one another. Have a happy new year. Be safe out there. Get a little tipsy. I know I will, because it's New Year's and, gotta drink away the pain somehow. I'm just kidding. Like I said, I'm just happy to be here. For my partner, Simeon, my man, I'm Captain Boring. Y'all, peace out and have a good New Year.